I'll just I'll start recording. Hi, good
Good
morning, Ellie.
morning.
How are you
Good
today?
morning. Good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Nice to see you too,
So
as always.
I'm delighted that today I get to ask some questions from you and get to know you.
Yes,
Is that okay?
that sounds great. Thank you.
So would you share with me when and how did you start writing?
Well, I guess to be honest, I've written all my life, but I've really only written to myself mostly. Um, I've always kept some sort of journal, but it also includes, I guess, reflections of things that I see that are very meaningful to me. But I've never actually considered myself a writer until recently. So to tell you a little bit about how it happened, I was working during the pandemic when it all started in March 2020. And I felt that things were very tough, but I was managing everything during the pandemic, and I'm a teacher. So everything went online and it got a little more complicated. But things started to get very strange at my work, and I faced a situation that was very untenable. The situation could not be resolved, and it was so uncomfortable. It first forced me to leave, and right after I left, I noticed I had a chance to join a writing workshop, and I thought that's a great way to kind of relieve my stress. So the first one I saw was related to Hay House, and I just decided the day before to join, and I didn't realize, oh, it's about writing a spiritual book. I'm not really that spiritual, but it was such a nice, meaningful experience. The depth of it, the details of the world of writing and what you need to consider. And I had a great time. I had one more experience after that. Again, in my email, I found a course about writing, and I had the same kind of feeling. The woman's name is Joan Borsenko, and the class was Gifts of Spiritual Memoir. And again, it's like, I'm not really a spiritual person, but this sounds very interesting. So first, a pop-up workshop was offered, and I took one. I had such a great time. It really blew me away. And so I signed up for another one, and then I ended up signing up for her course. So that's how my writing began. It's been 2 years already.
Wow. Wow. Wonderful. I don't know what the word spiritual mean to you. I think many of us use it, but may have very, very different understanding of it. For me, it's the energy of love. Um, if we are able or willing to love ourselves first, really loving ourselves, not in a narcissistic sense, and then being able to relate to other people or situations with intention of love energy, to me that's spiritual path.
That's beautiful. So when I read the word spiritual, sometimes people kind of feel an obligation to be a certain way, just like the word religious, like I'm not a religious person, or I'm a religious person, but am I holy enough? Am I sincere enough with my religion. I guess I actually am a very spiritual person, but sometimes you consider like, how spiritual do I need to be? And you put a lot of pressure on yourself. But your definition is very beautiful. But anyway, through the workshop, I really felt the way it was held, the space that it was held in, the type of participants, and what was presented kind of opened me up to being aware of the passion I had for writing.
You said you have been writing all the time. What age comes to your mind?
I don't really know when I started writing or keeping a journal. I think when I was very young, I had a very small journal and the entries were like tiny paragraphs. I don't know what happened to it, but I remember doing that. And I've always loved creative work. Any creative writing assignment I did well on, whether that matters or not. I just enjoyed doing it. So I usually had something that came up very nicely. Let's see. I guess to be continuous with writing, I guess it started around 18 or 19.
Okay, okay. I thought maybe from childhood you had a journal or something, because I love it that our children in school they had a journal, and like learning to write a little bit, no matter what or how simple it was, but the concept of writing your feelings, your thoughts on in your journal. And I remember I got them each one a journal that had a lock with a key.
Oh,
So it's like all your
yeah.
private feelings, thoughts, whatever you want. Um, I didn't have that growing up. I wish, it would have made a difference because, like I mentioned to you, my journal, but the pen and a notebook became my best friends and always available anytime I needed them. And that really, really helped me in the healing process. I know that writing may not be a tool for everyone, but anyone who's willing to consider it, I think it's such a um, powerful tool. So the motivation for the book that you're writing was the situation with the job.
It started with a situation with a job, but um, it really is not about the job itself.
Okay.
It's really about finding the right place for you, because it was obvious it was not the right place for me. And I left as soon as I knew that, regardless of regardless of money or insurance or anything like that, which may seem a little insane, but I knew I had to leave. So I guess I was very grateful for that inner voice that told me to leave.
Exactly, exactly. I have deepest respect and admiration for you. Um, and sometimes they say the blessing comes in disguise. Maybe one day you will look back with deep gratitude of honoring your soul, that no job is worth our inner well-being. And I'm really happy that I hear that from you, because I learned that the hard way, because I was working in a situation that I was so overextended. I mean, the number of clients I had and the circumstances, and severely traumatized people, that I was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. And I thought I was doing enough self-care, but it wasn't, because my heart was in it. I was so passionate about being of service that I wasn't taking enough care. I'm sharing that with you to applaud you for leaving. The ego might say, What about the monthly income? What about the insurance? What about job security? All these things. When we are not in alignment with our soul, I'm I'm very joyful hearing that from you. And it's like two thumbs up for you. And maybe the book will become very well read, and will bring awareness and empowerment to other people in workplace that it's not healthy for them. Because you and I know that there are a lot of workplaces that I would even use the word toxic.
Yes.
I mean, we have dysfunction, we have layers of different kind of work environment, but sometimes we become slave to the paycheck. um, and I hope you give yourself a pat on the shoulder for walking away and finding your path. And let's make the intention for your book to become an international bestseller, and really serve humanity, because that will give hope to other people working in an environment that it's killing them inside emotionally.